I've got tactical advice and ideas that I want to share with you, because if you all have the ability to raise your hand and I asked you right now, how many people on this call, and I think there's like 1,000 people on here, how many people do social media for their business because they feel like they're supposed to, but they don't really feel it. They're not excited about it. They feel like they have to do it. They actually maybe even hate it. Maybe you're not even doing it at all and you feel guilty because you feel like you're supposed to. Maybe you're somebody who's like, I'm not doing it. I'm old school. I don't touch this kind of stuff. One way or the other, I get the impression that the majority of people in our industry aren't getting value out of social media, business value, actual tangible business value. And yet there are people that are, and I've been studying them. And I personally, in my past life, had real success using social media as a spear fishing tool. Right? I never got internet famous. I never tried to get internet famous. That's a lie. I did try to get internet famous. I just didn't succeed. But I got really successful at spearfishing using social media. So I want to share a few things with you. And I want you to not think of it as social media. Don't think of it as maybe what it's meant to you in the past. The operative word here is media. All right. And when people think of social media, there's two different kinds out there. And our industry seems to lean towards the marketing side, right? There are people are running commercials. And commercials don't fly on social media, right? We're in a world right now where nobody wants to watch a commercial. You fast forward through it on your TV, you swipe past it when you're on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. And too many people are looking at posts in social media as something that you do, but it's more akin to marketing, where what social media needs to be is the entertainment value. If not entertainment, information, right? Interesting, thought-provoking, mildly informative is good enough, okay? But the media side of this thing, how do you get to be somebody who's effective in social media? It completely depends upon finding a voice and finding a vehicle that that people are going to find interesting, even mildly. So I want to talk to you about content devices, okay? This is a term that I learned when I did radio. I did radio in New York for 3 years. I had a Saturday radio show. It was a real estate call-in show. It was pretty popular, such as it is, right? I had 75,000 to 100,000 listeners on a Saturday. And when I got that show, I literally went in to the program director and said, I want to do a real estate show. You guys have a real estate show on Saturdays, and I think you're going to probably cancel it. And they said, well, how do you know we're going to cancel it? I said, because it's terrible, and I would imagine you know that by now, and you're going to wind up canceling it. But don't cancel real estate. I'll do it. Give me the time slot, and I can deliver for you. And they said, well, are you a broadcaster? I said, no, I'm not a broadcaster. I'm a real estate guy, and you'll teach me how to do a broadcasting, right? Could you teach me? And they did. They actually put me through training, and they put an assistant producer in the booth with me to make sure that I knew when a commercial was coming, and that I learned how to do the, hey, welcome back to Randon Real Estate on WABC Radio in New York. Like, they taught me all that in and out kind of nonsense, but they taught me content devices. How do you fill an hour-long radio show? Well, you have devices that are recurring ways of creating content, okay? A recurring type of media post, something that's easier to come up with and makes it easier for you to come up with ideas if you have devices. Quick and efficient way to put out consistent content, okay? So I want to share with you a few of my favorites, and I'm going to see if any of these resonate with you guys and gals, because what I'm going to be encouraging you to do is try to start the year as part of your New Year's resolution. Wherever you are with social media, try to get excited about it, because this could be a third of your business generated by being effective on these platforms. It's where all the eyeballs are, right? People just, it's so hard to reach people these days through marketing. And social media is a way people are doing that effectively. So one area of content device is just featuring a cool feature of a listing that you have. This is being done very effectively by people right now, where everybody knows that doing a video tour of the house is a good idea. Okay, but you walking in with your camera and saying, I've got to show you this sink. This is the coolest sink. This new listing I have has got this wicked media room or man cave, or check out how much they fit into this walk-in closet. This is not a big walk-in closet, but the amazing job they did on this closet. Check out this fire pit. Please jot down the idea that when you have a listing, you don't have one post. you've got 10 posts. Okay, you can show the apple tree and say, how cool would it be to be able to pick apples in your own backyard? That's a post. Part of how I know this is that I follow, I'm a car guy and I'm a boat guy, right? So I follow, as a user on social media, I follow a lot of car accounts and a lot of boat accounts. And I see people explode in popularity, not by doing full-blown, demonstrations of a car, walk-arounds, explaining every feature. It's short form stuff. Check out the way this works on this car. Check out this feature on this boat. Look at this navigation. Look at the engine, the way it tilts. They get micro on it, and it takes one house in your world can actually turn into a whole week's worth of posts by basically focusing on one cool feature at a time. This is working for people, right? And it's easy. You don't have to be on camera. There are some people here that don't want to go on camera. That's one of the things that's holding you back. So don't, all right? Point the camera away from you. Let your voice be on there and say, hey, this is Greg from Coldwell Banker. Just took a new listing at 123 Maple Avenue. I just wanted to show you, this might be the coolest man cave I've ever seen. It is in like 400 square feet, but they've packed in 5 TV screens, a bar, 4 theater seats in a space that used to be a storage room. This is one of the coolest things. Call me if you want to see the house. Boom, right? One feature at a time. All right, jot that down. It's easy. I'm trying to get people over the hump of where I got nothing to post. I can't think of anything to post. A cool feature is a content device. Okay? So obviously is a community event. Right? Now, everybody I think knows this, but you might have heard people teaching social media and real estate and saying, go be the mayor of your town, right? Go out there and interview people and talk to the principal of the school and talk to the restaurateur. I think that's all great stuff. If you're the kind of person that can actually go to the new brewery and meet the brewmaster with the big beard and interview that guy, that'll be very popular, okay? But not everybody wants to be that kind of content creator because they don't have time, they don't want to edit the video, they don't want to be on camera, they just don't feel it, right? You're not a man on the street interviewer. But these community events, when you see them coming, if you keep on top of what's happening and you just post, so don't forget, St. Patty's Day Parade is coming up on Saturday, or it got rained out, it's going to happen next Saturday, whatever. And then you show up and take one picture and post it early in the session. This is a key that I learned from somebody. They go to the car show early. They go to the chili cook-off early. They take a picture of the chili cook-off, and they get people saying, oh, I forgot all about this. Thanks for telling me. I'm on my way, right? Very, very small thing, but a community event is the kind of thing that you're probably aware of them anyway, okay? You're probably going to a lot of them anyway. But if you just get into a habit of promoting them in advance and then getting there and snapping that picture or that 8-second video of the walkathon with the kids, you're going to draw people in and you're going to create that level of engagement where somebody is actually saying, hey, thank you for reminding me. We're sitting around the house. Everybody's bored. Totally forgot about the car show. And now we're on our way. It's a great device, community events. Okay. Housing data. Okay. These are the 3 charts that I showed you before. There is no shortage of housing charts, right? You go into your MLS, you can create one anytime you want on any subject that you want. But I'm getting back to this idea of being micro about it, right? A monthly housing update is great. One chart saying, hey, I just saw this guy that I work with just showed this, that we actually had a record number of home sales across America this year. And here's a chart that shows it. Or we had a record number in Eden Prairie, right? If that's where you are. But becoming a housing advocate, becoming a housing reporter, where I promise you this, the vast majority of the people in your market that own homes are interested in this topic. They are looking at CNBC and Reuters and Goldman Sachs telling them things that, unfortunately, as I showed you before, were dead wrong, right? They're misinforming, not intentionally, but maybe a little bit intentionally, because they want to, when people are nervous, they read news, right? And they come back and read it again. So you've got people in the local town that if you were a housing advocate that was showing them a graphic and giving them one little factoid, don't write a book, right? Don't make a whole show out of it. You can do that if you want. But if you looked around and found something interesting, this is kind of cool. Rental rates in this town last month went up 7%. Huh, that's pretty high. If you're interested in buying a rental property, call me, right? Or you can leave that last part off even. You can just say, I'm just informing you. Rental rates are going up faster than home prices last month. I don't know, right? But those are 3 devices. If you put in your calendar that on Mondays you were going to post a housing chart, on Tuesdays and Thursdays you were going to post some feature of your listing, and then before the weekend you were going to post something about an upcoming community event on that weekend, and then if you could swing by the event on Saturday or Sunday and snap a short video, that's your whole social media strategy. All right, that's it. That's why devices are great, because you don't have to think of what am I going to post. You just got to say, what am I going to fit into my device today? What housing chart am I going to fit in? What event? What feature am I going to fit in? Okay. My goal here today, hopefully, I'm achieving it on some level, is to have a few of you guys and gals, hopefully more than a few, who say I can do this. Right. This is actually something that is getting me over the hump on my my apprehension of social media, or I like social media and this just looks like it made it easier for me. And this is not one guy's ideas. Okay. This is basically me being a major league consumer of real estate, cars, boats, and other categories, financial planning and so forth, and watching people whose content attracts my attention. I mark them. I come back and check 3 weeks later, a month later, and see how much their following has gone up, see how many more likes they get than they used to get. And I take note of the people whose social media activity is growing, and these are the kind of things that they do. All right, so I'm trying to skip you to the front of the line here so that you've got the know-how that other folks are doing things, and I'd like to see you do the same, because if you posted one of these things and somebody that you knew said, hey, this is pretty cool, by the way, my sister's thinking about buying a house, boom. My brother wants to sell his house, boom, you got something out of it. Okay? Okay, the last thing is the quirky real estate stuff. This is actually something that I'm seeing catching fire on TikTok. And a quick word about TikTok for you is, if you have not used TikTok yet, as a consumer, download the app and start using it. The reason why TikTok is powerful is that there's a moment in time right now where, like there was a time when if you became a creator on YouTube, it had explosive potential to build you a huge audience, a huge following. And then as it got populated, it's a ratio between the number of creators and the number of users. Okay, when there are very, very, very few creators and a lot of a growing base of users, the algorithm on YouTube really rewarded the creators. And as there became more and more creators, that got diluted. Same exact thing happened on Facebook. That early on, when there was lots of adoption of people using Facebook and very few people actually creating on Facebook, the people on Facebook could get famous and build up massive followings because it was lopsided. The algorithm needed those creators and showed their stuff to a ton of people. You put a picture of a cat meowing in a cute way, and all of a sudden you got 1,000 likes on it, right? That waned because the saturation happened. Instagram, same thing. If you caught Instagram at the right time, you could explode. You can't explode on Instagram anymore, but you can on TikTok. TikTok is still new enough that there's very, very few real estate people that are on there getting traction, but there's many more today than there were 4 months ago. All right, and they're all doing the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. So a few points on this. I would like you to download the app, start using the app. You're going to see a bunch of junk you don't like. It's called your For You page, okay? The algorithm on TikTok is trying to show you short form videos of things that you like, and it learns a lot about what you like based upon not just the things that you click the heart on, the things that if you watch a video for extra seconds, it indicates that you like that video. If you watch it all the way through, it knows that. If you watch it again all the way through, it knows that. Obviously, if you share it or like it, if you comment on it, it pays attention to this stuff. It has an incredible way of weighting each of those different actions of just watching it versus all the way through commenting on it and liking it. And it learns what you like. It figures it out. And what you'll find in a couple of weeks, if you use TikTok as a consumer, within a couple of weeks, you'll find yourself being addicted to it in a way that you can turn off whenever you want, right? So I'm not trying to get you addicted, but you'll find yourself, you'll find out that the algorithm is super powerful. Like it really does fit. Like somehow TikTok figured out pretty quickly that I think the funniest thing in the world is husbands pranking their wives. which my wife thinks is annoying. I haven't pranked her yet, but she sees me laughing. Like, what are you laughing at? This guy just stuck a pie in his wife's face. She's like, that's not funny. I'm like, it's hilarious. What are you talking about? But it learned that about me. Part of the reason why it's capturing so much usership is that people find it super entertaining. There's a lot of content creators, but it's totally lopsided. There are so many more, hundreds of millions of people that are looking at TikTok every day, and still relatively few creators. What I'm seeing on TikTok is the same kind of stuff that I showed you above, of a quick little housing stat number, a quick little feature, a quick little event video. These are the things that people are getting traction with. I see accounts that people started that had almost no followers that a month later have 20, 30,000 followers. And what they're doing is saying, hi, I'm Greg, and this is the Mall of the Americas, and it's only 10 miles away from my office in Eden Prairie. And like, they're not great at it, but the information is good enough. And people who are interested in it, who watch a little bit of it, the algorithm puts the next video in front of them. I think you guys are way above average in terms of the way you communicate with people when you're there with them, right? And what I want you to do is figure out how to be yourself. Like on this screen, when I'm in my car, I just flow, right? So I used to put the camera up on the dashboard. It's been a while since I've done that, but I got a lot of traction because I could just sort of flow when I was in the car. Find a place where you flow. Find the devices that you feel comfortable with. But please, from the standpoint of TikTok, get on there as a consumer, start to learn it as a consumer, and then at some point in the future, you might start feeling comfortable enough to make some simple little video and see where that goes. You might catch on. And if you do, the likelihood, like, there's no chance of you building a massive following on Facebook anymore. Not without spending a lot of money. Your following is your following. It's your friends. It's the people that you know, but it's not going to go to a big list of strangers. That ship has sailed. Same with Instagram, same with YouTube, but it's still alive and well in TikTok. Okay? Okay. All right, so here's the concept. Again, on the idea of this is on the idea of how do we as an organization over-index in this new world of media. And this is Walter Cronkite. Some of you don't know who that is. This is like the original anchorman in the news. And he was the guy who would read the news every night. And so some people here are going to be like Walter Cronkite. You're going to be the star of your own content, right? Other people here are going to simply be amplifiers of somebody else's content, which is actually good enough. If you just find yourself if the thing holding you back is that you don't want to go on camera, you don't want to write anything, you just don't want to create anything, you can still participate in this media by virtue of finding interesting accounts that are out there, paying attention to them, and when something comes along that you think fits, you just simply share it with a thoughtful comment from you. Okay? Don't forward an article from the National Association of Home Builders and just forward it and share it. Forward it with a comment saying, here in Eden Prairie, we're finding that this doesn't hold true, or this national article does reflect what's happening here in Eden Prairie, right? Whichever way it is, you become this sort of amplifier of somebody else's work, but you add your spin to it. And what happens over time is that as you get more and more inclined, you'll probably find yourself maybe creating content yourself. And if not, you'll just simply be an amplifier, but you still have the potential to be an information source to people that they'll appreciate, and it creates business for you. And then we get more content creators and we get more amplifiers, and we have the ability in an organization this big. There's 10,000 people in this region, right? There's 1,000 people on this call. If we got to a place where a lot of us were creating and a lot more of us were amplifying, we give ourselves the gift of saturating these platforms with Coldwell Banker content and Coldwell Banker people, right? And that's a weapon that our competition, well, they won't be able to capture it, or they can't keep up if we actually work together somehow in this.